Hey friends, this is Erin from the North Liberty Library, and I'm here today to share with you some of the graphic novels that I have been reading. The library is closed right now, but you can come in to pick up books through our curbside service. You could have your parents call and request books that way, or you can send us an email if you would rather do that, or have your parents do that, and we will get the items that you want and bring them outside when you are here to pick them up. It's all very easy, and don't worry if you don't have a North Liberty Library card, because you actually do, and it is called your AIM card, and it is your student ID. So if you've never checked out books here because you don't have a card, you can. You can also check out books through our digital Johnson County services. So if you read on a Kindle, or if you have a book reading app, you can also read on your Chromebooks. I know everyone's tired of staring at a screen, but that's another easy way to get a hold of some of these books. And all you need is your library card number or your student ID number, and we'd be happy to give those to you if you let us know that you need them. So let's get started. I'm going to talk to you about one of my favorite books that I read for the first time when I was in 4th grade. It's called The Witches by Roald Dahl. And some of you may have read this or have seen the new movie on Netflix, but if you haven't ever read the book, you should. And I recommend reading the book first and then reading the graphic novel version. You can see how they compare to one another. There are some major differences in this graphic novel, but the overall storyline is still the same. Little boy has to live with his grandmama, and she tells him all about the witches of the world, and then he ends up meeting them, and I won't spoil it for you if you haven't read it yet, but there are some things that happen, and it's a really, really funny adventure involving witches and mice and grandmas, and I really like the drawings and the illustrations. It's very colorful, and it's a lot of fun to actually read this and then compare it to the book and then compare it to the movie. I haven't seen the newest one, but I did see the one that was made a long time ago, which was also very good. Of course, nothing beats a book. So, recommending The Witches, book format, and graphic novel. These are both available on digital Johnson County as well. So if you can't pick it up physically at our library, you can check it out digitally. The next book I want to talk about is called Pilu of the Woods. And this is a story that has kind of two plot lines in it. One is about Willow, who is the main character here. And Willow is a little girl who is experiencing some big emotions she doesn't like to talk about that have to do with her mother and her sister. And one of the special places that she visited with her mother was a little patch in the forest by their house called the Woods. And you kind of figure out very early on in this story that Willow's mom is no longer with her and her family. And that's why Willow's having such a hard time with things that are happening at school. She gets picked on, and the one person that is kind of in charge of her a lot is her older sister. And I don't know if you have older siblings or not, but my sister is 7 years older than me. And when I was growing up, she was very bossy and acted like my mother all the time. And it was very annoying. And Willow experiences some of that in this book. And after one time that she gets in a fight at school and her sister gets mad at her, she runs off to the woods where she meets Pilu, who is a lost tree spirit, and she's trying to find her way back home. So the two become friends, and the story is about helping Pilu get back to her home, but also helping Willow learn to deal with her emotions in a way that is a little bit more productive than punching people in the nose. So, very colorful, very fun to read, has a happy ending, so no worries there. And the back is actually has some space for you to think about if you have a nature journal, if you don't have a nature journal, but there's some writing prompts in here. If you don't like to write, you can just think your answers. Obviously, you don't have to, but it's kind of a nice way to connect with the world around you. And there's also a recipe in here for mushroom rice, which is interesting. So again, that's called Pilu of the Woods. This one is not available on digital Johnson County, unfortunately. So you have to read it from the library. And then the last book I'm going to talk to you about is called Once Upon a Space-Time by Jeffrey Brown. You may be familiar with his work if you have read Jedi Academy series, or if you have read the Lucy and Andy Neanderthal series, the same author. So this is a book about space exploration. So if you're into space, it's pretty fun to read. There are aliens that come to the Earth in the future. They're all clones of one another named Toby. Toby makes really, really corny jokes. So if you're into that kind of thing, this book has a lot of silly jokes in it. But there's a group of kids that are being trained as future astronauts, and the beginning of the book is all about their training. And it's a lot of fun to see all the things that they have to go through and things that they need to be good at. And eventually, two of them are picked to actually go into space and be on a mission to meet other extraterrestrial friends and hang out with Toby and go explore other worlds. So all of the illustrations are in black and white, and there's a lot of little boxes with dialogue that you can see. It's kind of dense, meaning there's kind of a lot of words, but they're not hard, and you can figure out what's going on with the pictures as well, which is why I love graphic novels, because it uses both sides of your brain to understand what it is you're looking at. One of their spaceships that they're on is called Sputnik. It's literally a space potato. So this book it's very funny, and it's the first one in a series, and it's also available on digital Johnson County as well. So remember, friends, if you can't get to the library, it's okay. You can try to find some of these books online. If you are able to get to the library or have a parent or other grown-up come get books for you, you can call us or you can email us, and we'd be happy to grab any kind of book that you want to check out. We clean them off, we bag them up, and then when you get to the library, you call us and we bring the book out for you, because we're not letting people in the library because of COVID. So if you have any other questions, you can ask your Ms. Persky, or you can talk to me. And again, my name is Erin, and I'm the Youth and Teen Services Librarian at the North Liberty Library, and I look forward to talking to you soon.